everyone, welcome tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, and for parents who will view this later on online. My name's Sue Walderspiel. I'm the Director of Teaching and Learning here at the college, and I'm an old early years teacher, so this is kind of our jam. So we're really excited to share tonight with you, and if you have any questions at any stage, you might want to jot them down. We'll definitely dedicate some time at the end of tonight. So tonight I'm joined by Sarah Edwards. Sarah is our early years leader, and she supports the teachers that we have here tonight. Monique and Amy are our current prep teachers this year. Monique's been with us for a number of years, and she brings an amazing creative flair, and Amy brings an enthusiasm for everything. So Amy and Monique work together really closely, and the two people that aren't here tonight are our two ESOs, or Education Support Officers, and we have Kylie and Kalinda. And one of the things that we're really proud of as a college is that we're able to give teacher aid time, ESO time, in our prep classes full time. So students here in prep have two adults with them all day, every day, which is pretty special. So we're going to start, but we always dedicate time to the Lord. So join with us while we pray, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time to meet with mums and dads and to talk about little people. Father, we thank you for the amazing young people that we work with every day. We pray your hand of blessing over the families that are with us tonight, the staff who are with us, their enthusiasm for learning and for making learning fun. Father, we pray that you give us wisdom as we talk tonight and make decisions and prepare for a great start to prep in 2022. We dedicate tonight to you, Lord, in your name. Amen. Thanks. So, Amy, take it away.
Alrighty. I'm going to put my little pile of goodies. Now, can I stand over here or no, I'll stand here so you guys can see the TV.
There is as far as you can go.
Beautiful. Okay, can't step out of my lines. Alrighty. Hi, everybody. If you haven't met me, I'm Amy. Some of you, I know your faces from interviews, so that's awesome to see you here tonight. I'm just going to show you our prep pack that we have here. You'll see us referring to things out of that tonight. The kids will get that when they come to their transition day, so you won't be taking those home tonight. So, yes, we will get started. I'll show you. A few things out of our prep pack, which are really good for getting your kids to know what's coming and to be familiar with the school. So there's a book inside, which is Today is the Day, Prep at CCC. Really good for familiarising the kids with what some areas are, because it's a book around the whole school. There are teacher photos in there too, but just be mindful and remind them that could change too. Teachers change roles and things like that too. So that's a great book in that one. This one here doesn't come in the pack, but is a really, really good book. If you haven't already seen one, you do have to purchase them, I think, if you were interested.
Melita can share the link with you to be able to purchase it.
Yeah. They are a great resource for just some simple checklists to go through some of their developmental processes that they will go through, and just some other. I look through it and go, wow, there's some great tips and ideas of just how to deal with certain things or getting ready for school and things like that. So a great resource for that one. You'll see us tonight referring to the learning grid, and you'll notice on the slides as well there might be some of the pictures on here up there, because they're some of the things that we're connecting to on here, so it has that importance with that one. And I think we're good to go. Alrighty, so I'm going to introduce some parts of school readiness. One of the big things for school readiness is their social and emotional development. So a few things to help support them and get them ready for that is some positive talk about school, really wanting them to be excited for school. It's a place that is a safe and fun place for them to come. It's not a scary place, it's not a chore. It's a place where they're going to come and have fun and learn. So starting to just try and use those positive words. So if they're starting to, no, I don't want to go, it's scary, just try and reassure them and remind them that it is that fun, exciting place that they're going to learn, make new friends, and things like that. Some other areas in social and emotional, so negotiating and solving problems. You're probably already doing lots of them already at home, but it is good to be mindful to also put them in those situations where they do need to solve certain problems, where you might need to do some negotiating and get them used to that as well, because they will come across that and they will need to start working on those skills when they've started prep as well. Even problem solving skills can be verbal communication situations. It could be games, could be puzzles, lots of things like that. Like there's a range of problem solving that is really good to get them involved with. Opportunities to make new friends. If you find your child isn't, I mean, they're all different, some might be more outgoing than others, but again, try and put them in some situations where they could meet some new friends. So if you go to the park and there's another family there, you might check with the parents first or something, but even if they just go off and start chatting and role playing and making friends, if you find that they're not, try and get them in that situation where they might be able to connect with another student there and start some play, start some talk.
Talking about that, our marketing team are looking at trying to organise some play. Some play dates before school starts. So keep an ear out for that.
That's awesome. Very cool. It's just a great one. It gets them out of their comfort zone a little bit, which can set them up for when they come to prep. They're going to, feel like that a little bit too as well. Explaining some big emotions. This one, it can sometimes feel like, oh, do they need to know this? Well, yeah, they kind of do, because when they come into prep and there might be problem-solving situations or a bit of conflict or things like that, they need to know that they've made somebody sad or they've made somebody happy. So when you're dealing with things at home, it's really good to, I suppose, in their language, really tell them maybe what the situation was, how they are reacting, how they're feeling, some modelling of what could happen with that one as well. Is really good. But yeah, talking about trying to think of a situation.
I know I often sometimes get a little bit flustered or frustrated at home, and so I myself as a mummy would say something like, this has gone wrong and that has gone wrong and I'm just feeling a little bit yucky in my belly or something. So trying to show them that you also have emotions and how you choose to manage them, modelling that to them. Because I'm feeling that yucky feeling in my belly, I'm just going to take a moment to walk away, or I'm going to take a moment to take 3 breaths, and modelling that yourself. I know it feels a bit funny and silly at the start, but it really does help your child to see that they're not alone in their emotions either. We as adults have emotions. We've had many years of experience to try and manage those emotions, and even sometimes we don't do that well ourselves. So, being able to model that as a parent, managing your big emotions well and explaining to them what you're doing about those big emotions can really help them.
Yeah. Awesome. The other thing, I've been holding it in my hand and I forgot to get it out, is going back to our learning pack. You will see that we've popped a little game in here too. So when they bring that one home, it's just a memory game and just a few basic pictures. You might have some other things at home that are memory games, or you can use some real life objects and make some memory games. But we do really encourage it because working on your child's memory is so important. It's very crucial for their brain development, and you're getting parts of the brain to start from each side talking together and really getting them alert and working, because later down the track, if they've been practicing that, it all comes back to helping them with their language, their words, all those sort of skills, which then leads into their reading and writing. So that's why we've also popped a little memory game in there.
And games always, sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. So it can stimulate that, help them to learn how to lose well. It's a skill that even adults don't have sometimes, right? All right, beautiful. Next slide.
All right, independence. So when your little one will come to school, they're going to be expected to be doing quite a few things independently. So at home you can begin to help them start to get ready by practicing taking their shoes off, putting them back on. Things like, that little learning goal up there says, I can pack my own bag, I can use zippers, open and close containers. So when you go and choose their lunch boxes, get them to make sure that they can open that container or they can open and close that lunchbox quite easily. That's going to make their eating times very, very, less stressful for them. In your bag, you will receive the Am I Ready for School checklist. So this is a good little checklist that you can pop on the fridge and help them to go through each little checklist there so they're ready for the morning. So the first one is I'm awake, I've made my bed, I ate my breakfast, I put on my uniform, I put on my shoes, I brushed my teeth, I did my hair, I packed my bag. So that's one little way that we can start to build their independence for school. Okay. Yes. Also, clothing at school, we really want to encourage taking care of their belongings. So their jumpers, they go back in bags, hats, they go onto their assigned place. So even at home, you can encourage your little one and say, let's remember to, pop our hats in the right spot and pack it at the end of the day, little things like that. Okay, I think that's covered that one there. Or hygiene as well. So tissues, a lot of kids start school not knowing how to blow their nose. If you can practice that skill at home, that will be a great help for them. Also toileting. We do expect children to be toilet trained when they come to school. Obviously there are accidents.
And we're fully equipped to deal with all of them.
We can. If you know that, your child could have accidents, just pop a spare change of clothes in their bag and we can, help them. The aides can help them if need be.
And accidents can also be like a craft activity of a glue explosion or paint explosion, so just put a spare pair of clothes in the bag.
Yes. Alrighty, I think that's covered that one.
You want to go to the next one?
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't go.
Oh no. Oh dear. Okay, read. We want children to have positive experiences around reading from a young age. They love to spend quality time hearing your voice and being exposed to a wide range of words. This helps them build their vocabulary and improve their understanding when they listen, which is a vital start to reading. As Amy pointed out, we have a little visual memory game there to help develop their visual memory. When a child is writing a word, they need to remember what the word looks like. So children who have difficulties with their visual memory have trouble copying letters, words, or even reading words. So we want to provide lots of fun activities at school and at home for them to do this. Other than the little memory game, you might like to play a little sequencing game with your child, such as can you find 3 things in your home? Can you find something blue, something red and something yellow? And bring them to you just so they're getting into that pattern of developing their visual memory. Or playing I Spy games or looking at through I Spy books as well.
There, because we lost my other slide. Sorry, because we're recording, we can't go back and it froze and then it skipped over. So my other slide I was going to chat about is so the physical, so fine and gross motor. We did have a great picture up there, and it was the
X-ray of the hand.
X-ray of the hand. So I'm sure if you Googled it, you would come across it, but it just had their age and their hand, I think from like 4 to 7 or 4 to 8, and it just shows you the growth that's happening in there, the bone growth, and why it is so important for that fine motor, because
we're wanting them to work, exercise and move those muscles to really help form it. So when those bones are still growing through that age, they're going to be forming nice and strong and in the right positions. So yeah, that's why we always talk about fine motor, gross motor is very key and important because it really is. We're really working Play-Doh activities, puzzles. They're great using their little pincer grips. Building blocks, any of those sort of things are fantastic activities, all working their fingers and hands. So, yes.
Playing outside is also really fantastic for little people. It's crazy when you watch, I love watching kids play. It's why I do what I do, I think. But yeah, letting them play outside and just even seeing them turn a stick into, you know, something really incredible like it's their telescope or their fishing line or their whatever, is so, so important. And playing on the playground, some of the playground equipment is so vital for that gross motor skill. So hanging from monkey bars is really, really helps them to develop that strength in their arms. Believe it or not, I really don't like this piece of playground equipment, but you know the things that turn around, and you pull in and then pull out, those things are fantastic for what's called the vestibular nerve, which is right in the middle between your ears, and that actually helps heaps with balance and motor control and that kind of thing as well. So playing outside, playing at the playground is really fantastic.
Yeah,
good.
Fantastic.
Tag to you.
Oh yes, and that's me again.
Yeah.
So these are our clear values, which also go into our expectations, right from prep through to year 12. So they're right through the college, which is really awesome. So they start with them and then they keep them the whole way along. So in prep, we will read all of them and refer to them daily, because we do want our kids to feel courageous. We do want them to take those little risks and hop out of their comfort zone when they're in the classroom. We want them to be learners where they want to have a go. It doesn't matter what that may look like, at least they've had a go. That they are excellent. They're just trying their best no matter what. And that they see that at the end of the day is really important, that they are proud of that and they can feel it and see it. They are accountable. So in that sense, we'll use words like being responsible. What are some ways that we can take care of others in our learning environment, our equipment, our objects, our learning stations that we have around the room.
You are the boss of your own body. You manage your own things. They are ours, but they were your responsibility in that moment.
And then the last one, respectful. So showing them what that may look like in the room, outside the room, in the playground, things like that. So yeah, they're really great. I know our guys this year have just really loved their clear values. We look at them daily and it's really nice to hear them starting to use some of this language as well throughout the day. So yeah.
Alrighty, so that looks like our uniform. I'm going to cover what a school day looks like. So our classroom doors open at 8:30 in the morning. So when your child arrives, they can place their bag on the shelves outside our classrooms. We have homework tubs and library tubs that they can put their folders into. And then from 8:30 they can come inside and choose a quiet activity in the room, and you can join them to do this, such as reading, drawing a puzzle. And when the bell goes at 8:40, we encourage you guys to say a quick goodbye, little kiss, little hug, and head out. Obviously at this stage, in term 1, children can get a little bit upset, but we know that it doesn't take long for them to settle into the routine. And if they do continue, we'll give you a call and let you know.
I call it the Band-Aid. I've called it the Band-Aid for a little while, but it's almost like you've got a Band-Aid on and you want to take it off. It's better to rip it off quickly than to do it really slowly and then put it back on because it's hurting too much and then try and rip it again. So what we encourage is you have an agreed routine with your child. I'm going to read one book with you. We'll give each other a big, big hug. I'll give you one kiss on the cheek and then I'm going. That's probably a lot of steps for a little person to remember. But if you have that routine and you stick to it every single day, that gives them some predictability about that routine and it makes it so much easier for them. The worst thing is when you say, all right, I'm going now, bye, bye, bye. Oh, you're crying still. It's easier for us to manage a little bit of crying for 3 minutes than it is for us to try and, yeah, we would never pull them off you, but to try and separate, after a long drawn out one. So if you have an agreed routine, stick to it and it goes so much smoother and we will call you.
Yeah, so our learning day consists of 3 learning blocks, a morning session, middle session and an afternoon session. We also have three breaks throughout the day. So we have fruit break and that happens in the first session shortly after they arrive. We have morning tea, which is a chance for them to have their little snacks, and we have our second break, which is the longest break of the day when they eat their sandwiches, wraps and salads, those types of things. So we have a little example of our day there. Correct. Okay, so specialist lessons. We have Spanish, Creative Arts and HPE. The PE and Arts especially, they're great subjects to build on the students' own God-given natural talents, and they build confidence, creativity and teamwork skills. And these are usually held at the end of the day, so the kids really look forward to engaging in these kind of lessons. Yeah. Research has shown that learning a second language boosts a child's problem-solving, critical thinking and listening skills, also improving memory, concentration and ability to multitask. Yes, so we're pretty proud. And the kids love going to their Spanish lessons and learning all their little songs. And,
Yeah, so Spanish, I think they start by learning, is it numbers? Numbers 1 to 10?
Colours.
Colours, yeah, the colours in Spanish. So, yes, they may come home and they might be speaking about a colour and you think, huh? What are you talking about? So just be aware of that. Start to study up if you want to talk to them in Spanish. I don't know. Creative Arts, they go through a cycle, but they'll probably do some form of music. They may do visual art. They may be doing some media arts. They've loved doing some photo stories and things in media arts. So creative arts is 5 different strands. And HPE, they start by doing obstacle courses and gross motor skills and stuff like we've been talking about a little bit, and learn a little bit about the parts of their body. But yes. You on the next thing? Swimming. So during the prep year, your child is going to continue to develop. A lot of research has gone into brain development, and there is rapid brain development up until the age of 8. That doesn't mean that it stops at age 8. It continues to go. It continues to learn and grow. But up to age 8, there is quite a lot of brain development happening. And we all know, we're all parents in this room, every child is on their own developmental journey. They're all going to learn at different rates, and just because your child is not doing something that Joey can do doesn't mean that your child is inferior. It means that they are who they were created to be. We totally believe here at CCC that every child is unique, and they're going to develop at exactly the rate that they are supposed to. And along with you, we hope that we can help them to grow in the year to come. So, during prep, we're working on all of the developmental areas that the girls have been talking about. So during the prep year, we acknowledge that action and movement for learning helps students make meaning. We're always up and dancing or doing actions or, going out and finding particular things, and that fine motor and gross motor skill helps to develop good body control and learning behaviours. Like I was talking about before, that vestibular nerve, great for balance. It also really, really helps a child to sit still on the mat rather than do this. It also really, really helps them to understand where my body is in space, those gross motor skills. So we are continuing to work on those in the prep year. Social and emotional development is also really, really important. So all of those prep readiness skills, we're saying here are some things that you can do, but we're going to continue to work on them alongside you next year. So be aware that your child next year is going to move into a bit of a bigger social environment than what they may have experienced before. So a school is a very, very big place, but we do our best to make sure that our preppies are supported and loved in that big environment. Connections with their teacher, connections with their classmates are also really important for great learning. But believe it or not, I'm sure that you all are going to nod and agree, relationships can sometimes be a bit tricky and a bit prickly, and they kind of sometimes don't go the way that you want them to go, right? So our prep staff work really, really hard on helping students to positively navigate those problems and come to a great resolution together. And we're also here to help students regulate their feelings and responses. So we did talking about big emotions. We do that all the time in our prep room, but also helping them to recognise those feelings and manage them. Somewhere in the prep bag, sorry to reach over you, Amy, is a little card called the Bear card. So this is one of the strategies. You can't see it on the camera, so I'm just going to show you. One of the strategies that we use here at CCC to help students manage their emotions. So BEAR stands for breathe, exit, ask and relax. So there's more information about that on this card that you'll get at the transition days, but that's one of the programs that we have in place. So cognitive development. Some of the girls have already been referring to the being able to plan and organise, being able to manage my things. We talk a lot about, well, as teachers, we read a lot about executive functioning. I don't know if any of you have heard that term, but there's been quite a bit of research, and at the moment there's quite a bit of talk about executive functioning, and that is just really, put simply, it's kind of like your brain's operating system. That's the way that I kind of have organised it in my mind anyway. It's the way that we respond to the information that we're giving, processing that information and then being able to act upon it, being flexible in the way that we think. So it's things like organisation, task planning, where do I start? I want to build a big castle. What's my first step though? Because I know what the big castle looks like. Where am I going to start? So it's those kind of things. So helping them to develop that executive functioning, helping them to develop and manage that operating system called their brain. And the last one not the last one, but language is another thing that we focus on a little bit. And we want to help students grow and develop their vocabulary as well as the important literacy foundations. Monica's been talking about that visual memory. We continue to work on visual memory next year in prep. But yeah, just things like sequencing and being able to recognise sounds in words. It's an amazing journey that your child goes on next year. When you see from the beginning of the year, when they can hear, bug starts with B, and then by the end of the year, they're writing 3 sentences about a bug, and you go, how did that happen? These ladies. But we try our best to put some great literacy foundations in place so that they can build upon them, and hopefully by the end of the year they can hear sounds in words and put a letter on a page for those sounds that they are hearing, and put those into words, which then make sentences, which then make amazing writing. Cool. So, as you may have heard from some of our promotional material and from interviews and other things that you have been a part of so far, CCC has an inquiry approach, and in prep and the early years, so from prep to grade 2, we use the Walker learning approach. So the Walker learning approach is an age-appropriate teaching and learning approach based on child development research, and it values the students as active participants in their learning and encourages them to learn in the way that their brains are designed to learn. I read a meme the other day, maybe I shouldn't mention it, but it said it takes 400 repetitions to learn something. If you did it 400 times, you would know it. But if you did it in play 20 times, it's the same. So 400 versus 20, we're going to go with, hopefully, let's play. So the Walker learning approach prioritises time for children to actively investigate a range of skills for life, as well as curriculum content, through planned play and investigation. So it does say play is the work of childhood, and it is, but here at Prep, our Walker learning approach is really led and guided, crafted and very intelligently done by our lovely Prep teachers to meet the needs, to meet the interests, developmental needs and curriculum topics covered in class. So the types of play that happen are that directed and scaffolded play, which is really what the teachers are asking questions. What's next? What do you think? Have you seen this before? Those kind of things. So trying to lead and guide students in their learning. Imaginative and dramatic play is students playing out scenarios and imagining outcomes through their understanding of the world. Believe it or not, when they get home, well, when they come to school, they're probably going to mimic a little bit of what you do. And then when they come home, unfortunately, they mimic a little bit of what we do. But in the prep classroom, they get that chance to play out some of the things that they might have experienced. They might go to the cafe and say, can I grab a latte with a shot of caramel? Because that's what they've heard you say every time you've gone to the shops, right? So they can play out some of those scenarios and investigate their world in that way. We'll also see constructive play, investigative play. So students can design and create representations from their imagination in a hands-on way. So this type of play really works well with that executive functioning that I was talking about before. It really helps to develop that, being able to have a design plan and take action to be able to achieve that design. It's really amazing to see. Explorative play, being able to predict, test, trial, react to the things that they see in the outside world, being able to go and sketch a leaf or, gives to students time to experiment with some of those abstract things that are so big for us to understand and you can't actually put your hand on. But, giving them that chance to experiment. And then that sensory play helps students to calm themselves, but also gives them that great fine motor development and stuff as well. So our prep school day is a little bit like a cycle. It just keeps on going from day to day. So as Nick mentioned, the day starts with that investigation time. So that includes a tuning in time, an investigation time, and then that reflection time. So tuning in time is when the teacher reminds of the previous learning from that day and discusses how we might use that knowledge today in investigations or where we might see that today. And then during that tuning in time, there's also some roles that the teacher will ask a few of the students to participate in, I guess. The first one is focus child. So over a fortnight period, every child gets the chance to be a focus child. Usually there's 2 or 3 focus children for the day, and they talk about what they're going to work on, what they're going to experiment with, and the teacher kind of gives them some of that directed scaffolding. So help to understand, help to manage a task. And then there's also the reporter, and the reporter and the photographer have really important jobs because their job, the teacher might ask them to go and find 3 things that are bigger than your palm, you know, and then in that maths lesson later on in the day, you look at bigger and smaller than. And the photographer might do a similar job. You know, they might go and take a photo of 3 things that have the k sound in them, and then you use that in your explicit teaching in the second half of the day. So teachers work with these students to help build their relationship, deepen their thinking and make connections and encourage a rich learning experience. And then in investigation time, all students are sent out into the stations, and the teacher carefully supports students to make a choice about what will benefit their learning, and all stations have been carefully planned and designed by the teacher to work on that developmental or curriculum focus for that fortnight. And then the morning session wraps up with a reflection time. So this is the time that the teacher points out the reflection, the learning and the growth that has happened in that child. So, you know, it might be pointing out, wow, Tyler, I noticed that you wrote a whole sentence today. You know, you've come a really long way. Tell us about your sentence. Tell us about what you use, what tools you use to be able to write this, those kind of things. So, and then the reporter and the photographer get a chance to share their little snippet that is the lead-in to an explicit teaching session. So...
And they love their roles.
I should have gone to this slide. There you go.
They think they're they are very important for that day, but I know when they get their little neck card on, it like puts them in a totally different role where they're like, oh, I am important today.
And they will come home, I can guarantee you, they will sit in the car and they'll go, guess what, I was a focus child today. Every single time they are. We try and publish the roster and stuff so that you are aware of when they're the focus child, but they love it. They absolutely love it. So transition days. Unfortunately, our Solid Grounds coffee cart is out of action for this term. So the arrangement that has been communicated and will continue to be communicated with you is we're going to meet up outside the prep rooms, and then we will bring your children into the prep classrooms, either Amy's classroom or Monique's classroom, and then they can kind of swap over the next time that they come. If they choose to come more than one time, they can swap over to the other classroom so that they get an experience in both settings, even though they are quite similar but also quite different. So the first one is Tuesday the 19th of October, Friday the 29th of October and Thursday the 4th. It's just a chance for your child to get really comfortable in the rooms, comfortable with the faces, and just have an experience, hopefully have a positive experience. We do talk about every step towards the front door is a positive step. So there are some little ones last year and the year before that, you know, their first one, it just felt like a little bit too much to walk up there on their own. Even though they're not on their own, you're going to be right there. And we've got our wonderful prep teachers and our wonderful ESOs that will help them out. But we just try and praise every positive step to getting to prep, because it's a big thing. So on that transition day, your child will get everything in this bag. And
a couple of other goodies inside.
Oh, there is.
Some other little snacky things and some other little fun things for them too.
So they do get their free little shirt, which soon do you have the dates they can go to the uniform shop
it
to get?
was as of today.
Oh, okay.
So I was going to talk about that, so thank you for reminding me. As of today, you can go to the uniform shop and grab your free polo shirt. But I was saying to a few people the other day, your little child may very well grow. So keep that in the back of your mind. There are quite a few people that leave it until the week before school starts, or even the week before that. I think it's open every single day. There's some people that buy everything on the uniform list in July, ready for next year. So you decide what works for you. But from this point on, you can go to the uniform shop and grab a shirt. So keep that in mind. Yeah. All the other things are going to be communicated by email. So, yeah. I'm going to stop the recording now. But if you've got questions that you've scribbled down on your special notepad,